Hello, loved ones. Thank you for joining me today. And if you're new to the channel, then welcome to the family. It is my intent to review Married at First Sight, Season 14, Episode 2. The episode was called A Nice Day for a Wicked Wedding. I want to hear from you, so please be sure to sound off in the comments. Welcome to Fueled by Intentions, where we talk about faith, family, finances, fitness, and fun. Sponsored by Bynum's Business Solutions, where the right fit is made simple. We specialize in tips, tools, and strategies designed to help you achieve your financial health so that you can take control of how you spend your money so that you can spend more time with your family, friends, and doing the things you love. So let's jump right into the video. In last week's episode, we saw the wedding of Lindsey and Mark. And in this episode, we see the wedding of Jasmina and Michael and Katina and Elijah Juan. I think the experts are really trying to convince us of their matches because each couple they have been giving us exactly why they matched them. Dr. Pepper says that for Jasmina and Michael, they were matched because they're both highly compassionate people who strive for successful, long-lasting marriages despite not growing up with examples of that. They think that Jasmina's pragmatic personality will help overthinker Michael, and Michael's reliability will be exactly what Jasmina needs. We then see cross-cutting vignettes of Jasmina and Michael on their wedding day. Now, you know I love a good word picture, and Michael gives us one right from the start. He says, today is the day that he's been waiting and praying for, and it's like waiting to get on a roller coaster that you've always wanted to be on, and you're in line, and you're gonna be at the front really soon, but you just have to wait a little while longer. I am so glad that he drew me into his moment. I can totally relate. We've all been to amusement parks, waiting in line, ready to get on that ride, and the people in front of you, then you just gotta wait just a little while longer. I thought that was a great word picture. He again indicates that he will be vulnerable and he's making a decision in order to be vulnerable, and he hopes that his wife is patient and understanding and gives him time in order to become vulnerable. I really like that. I hope that he tells Jasmina that this is something that he's working on, and I like that he realized that it's going to take time. I think sometimes we just think once we want to change that it's just going to happen overnight, and it doesn't. And I hope that Jasmina gives him the time that he needs in order to make the change. I think that's one thing that happened with Michaela and Zach last year. I think Michaela wanted to change, but Zach was not giving her the time that it takes. You're not going to change overnight from one person to the next. It's going to take a little trial and error. And I think Jasmina can help him if he's honest with her instead of her just guessing, thinking he's not communicating, or however that shows up. I'm not really sure how not being vulnerable is going to show up. Maybe he just doesn't talk or communicate his feelings. So I'm really interested to see how this plays off for the both of them. He then talks about how he lost his father at 13 and his mother at 20. And both of them passed away of cancer, his dad of prostate and his mom of breast cancer. And then him and his siblings do a tribute to his mom, and the family wears the pink breast cancer ribbon to include and remember his mom during this time. And I think that was so beautiful and so appropriate, and I'm really glad that they didn't just give it to him, but that they all wore it as a family. I think that was great. Michael heads out excited in order to be married, and that's all we see of Michael until we see him at the wedding. So now let's check in with Jasmina. Jasmina is excited. She dwells on her luck with relationships and how she's tired of playing. She never saw a successful marriage. people get married for the wrong reasons and then they just end up cheating. So I'm not sure if she just saw a lot of cheating in her life. She wants to be different and examples for her siblings. Oh my God, I can totally relate to that. I too have had a lot of divorce within my family, and I wanted to be an example for those coming up after me as well. And it gives you a different determination. I think that you will just not run at every turn, but you want to stick through it. So I hope that that is one of her motivations, and that helps her just get through the difficult times, because marriage is difficult and you're going to have some ups and downs. So I hope that motivates her to just keep going and to stick with it. She expects her husband always to keep her happy because she's going to always keep him happy. And I think that that is such an unrealistic expectation. I don't think that we can be responsible for someone's happiness. And I don't think we can make someone happy or make somebody unhappy. I think that that is unrealistic. And I think that that's just unrealistic across the board. A lot of people, when they get divorced, I wasn't happy. But happiness comes from within, and happiness comes from God. And I don't think that you should put that responsibility on another person. So let me know. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think that we have the ability to make another person happy, and that we should take on that role to make them happy? I don't know, maybe I'm just a little different, but I think that's one thing as to why my marriage has been successful is I don't believe that my husband is responsible to make me happy, and I don't think that I'm responsible for making him happy, nor does he. But we are Christians, so we do believe that happiness is an internal thing, and it comes from God, and for us to be content in where we are. So that could just be me. Let me know what you think in the comments. She wants communication. She wants to talk things out, and she wants them to be open and honest, and for them to communicate about their feelings. I think that Michael can provide this because that is what he is working on. But it's interesting that they are matched, and that is all she talks about is she wants somebody communicative and open and honest, and he's struggling with vulnerability. So I think that the very thing that she needs and wants is something that he's struggling with. So I'm not sure if the experts really took that in consideration, because she said it so much and he has said it so much that I'm sure it's something that they had already revealed. I'm sure this wasn't new. We then see Jasmina freak out and have a major period of anxiety. I like that she just owned it. She just admitted, like, I've been so strong and, saying I wasn't going to break down, and here I am crumbling. I like that she just owned it. It looked like they went and got her mom to comfort her. So I'm not sure if she had planned for her mom to walk her down the aisle, or if her mom walked her down the aisle in order to support her because she was having such a moment. It took her quite a minute to calm down and be okay with walking and going along with it. She also said in Unfiltered that she was almost a runaway bride, that she really was having anxiety and it was really hard for her to continue. So I'm really glad that her mom was there for her and able to comfort her. I think she was just counting the cost of this experience, and that led to her anxiety, because she said, I don't play around with marriages. My parents got a divorce. My family and my siblings were separated. I don't want that for my children. I want it to be different. So I want my person to be the person that I'm with forever. And I just didn't think that my person would be somebody I didn't know. And I think it just hit her. I think it just really just hit her, which is a good thing. I mean, you really got to count the cost, and all those things that she doesn't want. It's married at first sight. It could definitely happen. So I really do like when people go in with a clear head, counting the cost of what it could be and what it could lead to. And I was actually really excited to see that from Jasmina, because from something that she said in the last episode, she said she was approached, which to me means she was recruited And sometimes I don't think that people who are recruited take it as seriously because they haven't been longing for marriage. Although she said she was recruited, she didn't say the word recruited, but somebody approached her and she was already thinking not about married at first sight, but her life and how she would continue. So she thought it was a good deal and she went for it. But sometimes I think recruits, maybe they come on for other reasons. So I really, really like that she was counting the cost. I really thought it was funny because Jasmina's mom was trying to comfort her. She said, "You got this. Put your trust in everything that you've seen growing up, things you've learned, and carry them into the new journey with your new husband." And when her mom was speaking, I'm not sure if her mom was speaking in general, just the things I've taught you as a mom or the things you've seen in relationships, because Jasmina just got through saying that she didn't want a relationship to be like that, what she saw. She wanted it to be different. Then her mom says, "Put your trust in what you've seen." So I'm not sure. Maybe her mom was just, how I raised you, upbringing, maybe not talking directly about the relationship aspect of what she's seen. As soon as Jasmina walks out, you can hear the crowd admiring her beauty and being super, super supportive. And then you hear Michael, he says, "Wow." And I just thought that was so cute. It's interesting because on the after party, Jasmina says that she was very, very nervous. Even when she walked out, she was self-conscious about her wedding dress because her family did not think she should choose that one. They said it wasn't her. They didn't say it wasn't nice or didn't look nice. It just wasn't her. And she said the first thing that she heard was his sisters saying, "Oh, she's so beautiful. That's such a beautiful dress." And that kind of helped her down the aisle, which I can imagine because you're pretty, your family don't like it. She didn't know if his family would not like it and had already in her mind said, "What if they don't like my dress?" And then for her to walk out and hear, I think also she saw him and was like, okay, I can, because the whole physical attraction seems like it's really big to everybody. So I think that she saw him, saw that he had a pleasant demeanor that probably eased her little fears as well. We see Jasmina's personality during the ceremony. She breaks the ice by asking if he comes there often, makes a joke about knowing he was the one the first time she saw him, and does a mic drop with her vows. So I thought that was really cute and showed the fun side, that she's not all no nonsense, that she does have a fun side. I thought all of those things made a fun ceremony. We then learn what Jasmina's friends and family wants Michael to know. They want him to know that she loves children. She cannot wait to build her own family and be the best mother that she can be. She loves to travel and may want to travel to Korea to see her favorite boy band. And he finished the sentence, BTS. She can be a firecracker, but if she is, just call her Beyonce. And I guess that's gonna calm her down. I did look up BTS because I've never heard of them before. BTS is a 7-member Korean pop group who debuted in 2013. I could not say their Korean name, but in English, it means Bulletproof Boy Scout. Their founder had a desire to create a group that could withstand social pressures and serve as a voice for the younger generation. The group's first single, No More Dreams, is an aggressive hip-hop track that calls out young people without dreams of their own, challenging societal academic expectations for Korean youth in the process. I think it's really interesting that she enjoys the Korean culture, so I really would like to hear more about that and how that came about for her. I'm really excited to see if we hear about Korean culture or if she can speak Korean. Maybe she can. I listened to one of their songs, but it was in their native language, so I couldn't understand it. And she says she watches Korean dramas. So I'm wondering if she can speak Korean and understand their language, or does she read the captions, or is it translated into English? I'm really interested to hear a little more about that. Now, let's see what Michael's family wants Jasmina to know. Michael's friends and family would like Jasmina to know that he is a baby boy of a Haitian family, that he is spoiled by his sisters, that he loves kids and can't wait to be a father. Michael has lived by himself for a long time, so he may be messy, but if she's patient, he is a quick learner. He always means well and will always show up for her. I think that shows that they could really be matched. One thing, of course, that stands out is that they both want children, and they both included that, and the people around them, they know that is something that they both desire. I think that this is starting off well. I really hope that they make it. We then see Jasmina, and she begins with her vows, and Jasmina calls him Mike. And at first I was kind of offended because I hate when people give somebody else a nickname, but when I watched it the second time, he introduced himself as Mike. So that let me know that he does like that and does consider that his nickname. She starts off so cute. She says, "I knew you were the one the moment that I laid eyes on you." And then she talks about things that she can't promise. But then she says, these are the things that she can promise. She says that she promised to always make him feel valued and wanted. And she promised to remember that they are human and that they are going to be in this together, today, tomorrow, and forever. And I really like that because I think that those are things that she can promise, because you can make somebody feel valued and wanted. I heard somebody say once that people like being around you because of how you make them feel about themselves. So I really think that she can provide the things that she did promise. And it was so cute at the end. She did the mic drop or the vow drop with her vows, and just kind of made it laugh and funny. I think that was really, really cute. I think that showed that she is no nonsense, but then she has a playful side too. I thought that really showed her playful side. And then we get to Michael's vows. He promised to respect her always, especially in the midst of turmoil and hardship. And I think that is so important, that we respect each other in turmoil and hardship. So we're gonna see. I think that I'm so glad that in the middle of the ceremony, in the middle of the 8 weeks, they have them go back and read their vows and remember what they promised. But I too think he will be respectful. I don't think that he's putting on an act. Although last year I thought Zach was being respectful. Not putting on an act either. And we see how that turned out. But I really, really like them together. I love that in both of their vows, they talked about having children and being a family. And that's something that we see that they have in common. So I think that for this couple, I don't really see a lot of interest except the children that they have in common. And especially when they talk alone, they don't really see any commonalities that they have in that conversation. But I think that they were really matched because of their value for family. And they're really nice people, but I'm not sure. Nice people don't always make it, but I'm rooting for them. I think that they will make it. They then jumped the broom, and I really loved how the minister talked about, you're having a clean sweep, and had them sweep with the broom, and then they actually jumped over the broom. So I thought that was really, really good. I really liked how Keisha Knight Pullman in the after show explained what jumping the broom really symbolizes. And it symbolized marriage for African Americans when we were not allowed to get married, and how jumping the broom symbolized that ceremony of them being one together when that wasn't a right for us. So I really like how she expounded on it, so that those who may not know about the African American culture can get a sense of the importance of jumping the broom. So for them, the wedding is over, and now they have their one-on-one time. They check in with Jasmina, and she indicates that she's cool now. She just had a moment, and now that she's on the other side of it, that things are fine. Michael, he says that his wife is drop dead gorgeous. She's like a black Barbie, 100% his type. They both cheers, and there's like a little disruption where Michael guzzles down his drink and has to do a refill so they can actually do a cheers. But their cheers is to be open and honest with each other and always stay on the same page. And it's interesting because Jasmina initiated that toast, so I think that she's just telling them right off the bat what she wants and desires. It is interesting that he wants to know right off the bat what her sleeping schedule is. I'm not sure. I'm like, what's your occupation or what her sleeping schedule? I don't see that as being my first question, but I always am leery because we don't know the whole conversation. They may have talked about other things and now they got to the point of the sleeping schedule. What was interesting to me is she said it like, no, I go to bed too. I go to bed at 9 o'clock, as if they're going to be going to bed at the same time. But it's very different when somebody goes to bed and they don't watch TV and when somebody goes to bed to TV. So I think that that would be very interesting, because if he doesn't watch TV, he doesn't go to bed with the TV on, and he's used to either sleeping with some other type of noise, not a television. So I think that that might be, she played it off like, no, we go to bed at the same time, we'll be good. But if he doesn't go to bed with the TV, then I'm not sure how they're going to work that out. One thing I was thinking though is when they moved in together, I've never seen a TV in the house when they have moved into their apartments. So I'm wondering if a TV is even there in the apartment when they moved in, or if that's something that the show production leaves out so they will have to talk and communicate with one another. But we all know, we got our phones, we got our iPads, we can go to sleep, watch TV anywhere at any time. It doesn't have to be an actual TV sitting in the living room like it used to be. And maybe they'll do fine. Maybe when they go to sleep, they'll both go to sleep together, and maybe she'll do headphones or something like that, and they both can enjoy what they're used to in terms of sleeping. She makes a big deal about him not seeing Marvel, and she also said on Unfiltered after show, she also said on the after party that she would have him catch up with Marvel, and she's really into it. She's there the night before, so that's a really big deal for her. But since he does go to the movies, I don't think that he'll have a problem supporting her in that. And I mean, some people, we just like any movie, so I've never seen Marvel myself, but probably could get into it if somebody else around me was into it. So I don't think that that will be a problem. But I think that them sleeping and going to sleep together and having the TV on versus the TV off, I think there's going to have to be some negotiation there. Michael's friend then is so overwhelmed, thinks she's just a perfect girl for him, and makes some speech where Jasmina is just looking like, really, dude? I thought that was funny. She didn't seem like she was too into it to me. And then Michael feels super good that both of their families are accepting of their union, and they take family photos, which are really nice. I do like that he says, she doesn't feel like a stranger to me, so I'm no longer going to use that word to describe her. I'm just going to call her by her name or by his last name. And he feels the chemistry between them. He thinks she's gorgeous, drop dead beautiful, but she thinks that there may be a little bit of attraction. On the after party, Keisha Knight Pullman asked, on a scale of 1 to 10, how attracted are you to your mate? And Katina says, I'm a 10. And Jasmina says, it's a great first impression. I can see why the experts matched us. I hope that the person that I meet today is the person that will last forever. What she didn't do, she didn't answer the question. She never said how attracted she was to him. And during the episode, she says there is a little spark. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Jasmina is attracted to Michael. I think he is so handsome, and she says that she likes a man with a beard. But I think that is so odd that she did not answer the question about how attracted she is to him. But you know, sometimes attraction grows because her thing is she wants to get to know him a little better. But what's so surprising about that to me is that when she is on the after party, she knows him because that's taped after the episodes are done. So at that time, if you're not going to say a 10, or maybe she's just really concentrating on the moment that she met him, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we're going to see that causing issues later. But that ends it for Jasmina and Michael on this episode. Next, we see Lindsey and Mark, and they take photos as well as have their first dance. When they were beginning to take photos, Lindsey cursed, and I just don't know. I know she's being herself, but you know, you don't know these people. You don't know, there's a lot of older people there who you want to be respectful of. So I thought that was another unfiltered Lindsey being herself, does not know any self-control of how to control her language in front of people that she doesn't know. But maybe that's common, and it was just odd to me because I don't curse naturally, but I found it to be disrespectful, especially since at that time she didn't know who was his mom, or if his mom was there, if his grandmother was there, looked like some older people. So I just thought that was another side of the unfiltered Lindsey. She said that her grandfather passed away at the age of 99. That is amazing. She says she feels great. She thinks that Mark is genuine and kind, and she feels an attraction to him, but she's worried about the 5 cats. But what's the good news is that his cats are about to die. I don't even like animals, but unfiltered Lindsey, let's just say unfiltered Lindsey. And I don't know if this is a stretch, but that made me think about his mom and grandmother, because in the last episode, one of the things that he said alluded to him wanting a wife, and it sounded like that he thought maybe his mom and grandmother, or one or the other, may pass away soon, and he wanted that companionship. So, but maybe she wouldn't be that insensitive towards a person. But most people who are animal lovers, they equate animal and people, you know, very high. So I was really surprised that she made that statement. But again, I just chalk it up to unfiltered Lindsey. And she said that she had a mutual attraction. She felt a mutual attraction between the two of them, and that attraction was undeniable. So I thought that was really good, because I thought last time on the last episode, I thought that she made a statement that didn't appear that she was very attracted to him. So that was very interesting to me, that now they have an undeniable attraction. Then we get to Mark. Now, Mark said that his wife is a wild child. She likes to have fun. He doesn't know if he'll be able to keep up with her, but she may get him outside of his comfort zone. He said in his dating past that he has dated really outgoing people, but he never gets to see the softer side of them, so he's hoping for the best. Mark was on the after party as well. And Keisha Knight Pullman, when she asked about attraction, Mark said she was cute, she had nice teeth, she was not his type, but he wanted to see through conversation how it would go from there. So I'm not sure if that means he has a great physical attraction to her or not. And I'm really not sure if him and Jasmina are just answering on the first day, where Katina, I think she is answering how she feels in the here and now, is they get on a conversation of moms during the pictures, and Lindsey asks if that is his mom, and he says, no, that's my landlord. And Lindsey feels as she can identify with him about them both kind of being rejected by their moms, but I don't think that they're the same situation. I think he had a loving, caring mom, and now she's just going through a rough time, and they're not going to be able to relate on the same level of abandonment versus my mom is sick and now she cannot care for herself. Because I think that his mom may have been a loving mom. We then get to Katina and Elijah Juan, that she wants him to say to himself that she is beautiful. When she walks down the aisle, she wants him to say to himself that she is beautiful. And she says that in another clip as well at a different time, that she wants him to say it to himself. So I think that that is really interesting as to see how it plays out at the wedding. She says she's 30 years old and she's had her fun. She's tired of dating. Time is ticking and her ovaries are not getting any younger. I think that that is a great thing to consider, because if you want children and you're getting older, they say at the age of 35, you're like, geriatric pregnancy. So I think that that is very smart of her to think about her age as it relates to having children, because I think it's important. Sometimes we just think no matter what, we're going to be able to have children, and that's not always the case. I know for me, I was not able to have children, so I think it's really something good to think about while you're young. She says over and over that she wants commitment and someone who is serious. And then we see Elijah Juan, who doesn't seem like he's taking it serious. So I'm not sure. Sometimes I'm not sure how they match them in terms of what they really desire. And I'm not sure if they knew these things before. And also I listen to what they say, because I really think production is setting us up to see the journey. And so when we hear them say something over and over and over again, I think that it's gonna possibly become an issue later. But her thing is somebody who is committed, somebody who's ready to take it serious. And I'm not sure if Elijah Juan is ready to take that serious. Before her wedding, she says that she has a fear that she might be making a mistake, but she feels like it's a part of her destiny. And then her friends come and talk to her and say that they were trying to warn her of the risk associated with marrying a stranger, which I thought that that was very loving. I feel like friends are supposed to be there to hold you accountable and to make sure you understand the cost that it's going to be for you if this does not work out. But she says that she has peace, and then they toast to their fears and her high hopes for a great future. And I really like that, because I feel like even though her friends brought the concern before her, she wasn't defensive about it. She talked it out with them. This is how I feel. I understand your feelings. This is how I feel, and I'm going to move forward. And I feel like they were like, okay, well, that's how you feel. Like, we're going to support you. But we did want to bring to your attention the cost of marrying a stranger. This is the second time when she mentions what she wants him to do when he sees her, because the friend says, what do you want to happen when you walk down the aisle? She says, I hope he says something, like when people say something to themselves. So again, she stressed that she wanted him to say something to himself. And her friend said, so you hope he says something like a quick wow? And she says yes. But she said, I hope he says something to himself. I don't know. That kind of gives me the impression that maybe she might not be an extrovert, or as much of an extrovert, needing that attention. Just her whole response during the wedding and how she stresses that she wants him to say something to himself. And when I say stresses, I don't think she's stressing that point. I think every time she's asked the question, she says how she feels. And her feeling is she wants him to say something to himself. But I think that that speaks to her character and who she is, that she may not want somebody who's just out there very loud, which we know Elijah Juan is. And that personality may be too much for her because of what she is saying that she wants. And it's just very interesting that each time she says that she wants him to say it to himself. And we see later kind of her reaction is kind of like, he's a lot to handle. She hopes that she can deal with that. So although she's this party girl, she used to be a party girl, she may not be as much of an extrovert or out there or need attention as we think party people may want, at least I think party people are kind of out there and, like to have fun, like to be in the mix, be in the crowd. I don't know if she's really that kind of person. Her mom then gives her some advice. Her mom says that she is concerned that the guy will be all excited about Katina and she won't feel the same way about him. She says that she needs to look at the preponderance of his character and personality and allow that to overshadow his deficits. So it looks like she may have very high standards in relationship and, for lack of a better word, kind of be picky, because her mom has cautioned her, like, look, you need to look at his character and the preponderance of everything and don't find just that one thing that kind of turns you off. Next, we get to Juan, who is clothes shopping with his family. He is so confident. They ask him, do you think you're going to take your wife's breath away? And he says, yes, because I almost took away mine. So he has a lot of confidence. He says he is going to be honest with her, tell her everything, because his past is his past and his future is his future. His family is still concerned because they're concerned that he hasn't truly put Isaac behind him. He says Isaac is definitely in his past, that his Playboy days are over. He's 100% confident that he is ready to put away his selfish ways and move on to the next chapter of his life. Now, I hope I'm not convinced about that yet, but I'm hoping so. And we know that Woody was a partier and his friends had some doubts whether he was going to be able to turn it around. And he has done really good. Woody and Amani are doing really good. It looks like he is totally committed to being a husband. So maybe Juan is going to be one of those success stories. I think you have to be ready in your mind mentally. And he says that he is. So we'll see. They again talk about his wife cooking, and she may not want to cook. She might be going to work. They also said that he is going to want her to cook, but he's also going to want her to work. So from what I said last week, if I wonder if he wanted a traditional wife, a truly traditional household, and it does not sound like he would, because he wants you to cook and clean and work, and then he just he doesn't want to take part in the household. So I don't think that that's traditional. Juan said that when his wife sees him, that he wants his wife to yell to her friends and family that he looks good. I think that that is totally opposite, because he wants his wife to yell and she wants her husband to say to himself. And I think that what we saw at the wedding is what they both wanted in the other person. So maybe Katina thought he was handsome. I'm not sure. But he said out loud several times, "You're so beautiful. You're so beautiful. Oh, you're so beautiful." And maybe she said it to herself, since that's what she said she wanted. And then he says, "Do you think I'm handsome? Because you didn't say anything." So I think it's really interesting that both of them talked about it in different ways. And then at the wedding, we see that play out. I don't know if that says anything about their future, but I think that that says something about how different they are. And maybe his love language is words of affirmation and hers is something different. And sometimes when she'll have to learn to say words of affirmation to him, because it sounds like he needs that in order for his ego. But a lot of extroverts do need to hear that. He seems like he's clearly an extrovert, outgoing in that way. I'm hoping to see how this kind of interacts in their marriage, to know that she is more of a silent and he is more, I want the whole world to know. And his sister says at the end, she says, is this going to be a commitment for a lifetime? And he never answered. But before he said that it was going to be forever, but then when his sister asked him if it was going to be for a lifetime, he was just silent. And that's kind of how the end of the shopping trip ended, with us just seeing him not responding. Now, like I always say, it could be production just giving us that little cliffhanger, something to hold on to, and he answered and they just cut it off for the shock value. We move to Elijah Juan getting dressed before the wedding, and he is super emotional. He says he's cold, but he's sweating, and then he has his major meltdown, him and Jasmina. He had his major meltdown where he was just uncontrollable. I do like how his friend consoled him and made him, it's normal, just part of, you're nervous, it's a big day, we got you, we're gonna be here for you no matter how it works out, you got us, we're your family. I really like the support that his friend shows him in that moment. I think he was totally having a meltdown, because even when they went outside, we see that the producer had to comfort him. And I love that moment when the producer comforted him, because we hear a lot about production, or they'll say they like their producers, they enjoy their camera people. So here, see that interaction, because I think they spend a lot of time with the same people filming them all the time over and over. So I love to see that human interaction between them and the producers. And I'm really glad that that person was there to comfort them and that they showed it on camera. Elijah Juan, right before he goes out to get married, he makes a revelation. He actually says that his biggest fear is that when his wife sees him for the first time, that he will look at her and tell that she's not happy and she may not want to connect with him, which I think is all of our fears. The fear of being rejected. I think that that would be a fear for all of us, especially in this particular situation. And we don't want to be rejected in a way that people don't want to connect with us. But he also says that maybe he's dated someone that she knows and she won't be able to get over it and get over his past, because what goes around comes around. Sometimes it does. What goes around sometimes does come around. So I think that that was a good observation that he made. I'm not sure if that didn't happen, because, sound like he got around a lot and she was in the party scene as well. The only good thing is, if that did happen, she may not discover it, because he probably told the girl his name was Keith or something like that, or Kevin. So she's probably mad at Kevin, and it really is the alter ego of Elijah Juan. So maybe she won't even put it together, because he's used so many names that the name may not catch up to him. And the only way she'll know it is if he confesses, or I don't know why you would talk about somebody else's relationship. Or maybe he'll meet the girl, he'll run into her, because you might can lie about your name, but the person knows how you look. So maybe it's one of her friends, and when she sees him, she's gonna be like, Keith? Be like, wait a minute, he told me his name was Keith. But then, as soon as the wedding starts, Elijah Juan shows his immaturity. Where is she? Where is she? Where? Is it just me? Am I being too hard on Elijah Juan? Because I just think that that was so immature. So immature. But maybe it's because I think he's immature. And when you have a perception of someone, most things that they do irritate you as being the characteristics of what you've already think they are. So sound off in the comments. Tell me, am I being too hard on Elijah Juan? Or do you too think he's immature? And one of the ways that he showed it was, where is she? Where is she? Come on. But Katina looked absolutely beautiful. She had the biggest bouquet that anybody could have. It was just overwhelming, but she looked so beautiful when she turned the corner. And they both discovered that they had tattoos, which I think is a really good thing that you have that in common. I am not a tattoo person. I don't think that I would find that as attractive, but it seems like they're very into it. So I really like that they found something to connect with right off the bat. And Elijah Juan is, "You're beautiful. Oh, you're so beautiful." Then he says, "I hope you like what you see." He said, "Oh yeah, I do." Well, you didn't say anything. You didn't say I was handsome. Ego, ego, ego. But that just goes to what they were saying. He wanted her to yell it out, and she wanted him to say it silently. So they both did the opposite. We then get to what Elijah Juan's family and friends wants Christina to know. They say, "You are marrying Elijah Juan, but we call him Tootie." Now, was that the time and the place to let her know that? Some things require a little explanation. So they may have wanted to save that until they had like the family meeting to say, "Hey, this is nickname, this is how he got it, and maybe we could handle it a little more." And then my question is, did they call him Tootie, or do they call him Tootie? Because he's almost like 29, 30 years old. Can he not grow out of that name? So I'm really, really interested to know how he got that name and why they are still referring to him as that. Because I'm sure she did what we all did and thought of Kim Fields Tootie from The Facts of Life. And that does not sound like a male nickname, but maybe that's because we know it as Kim Fields from The Facts of Life Tootie. So I cannot wait to see the story behind his nickname. But it did not make him look masculine, secure, he can take care of me. That is not the impression that she got. They did say that he is a ball of energy and they hope she comes with a lot of patience. Elijah Juan loves his family and friends. They come as a package deal, so let her know right up front, you get him, you get us. He loves a home-cooked meal. Did you see her face? She was like, she looked at her family. So they hope she's no stranger to the kitchen. And if you are, they said that they hope that she is a quick learner, which was interesting because he was like, "No, we can do this together. We can do this together," which last week at the picnic, it was a deal breaker. No, she's not a wife if she can't cook. Now he's standing before her. He thinks she is absolutely beautiful. He will go to the end of the world because he just thinks she's beautiful. It's all about the looks right now. So yeah, we can do it together. No problem. Don't worry. Don't worry. When last week it was a deal breaker. So I'm not sure. Because, you know, beauty fades when you are in a tussle. So I'm going to see if he thinks his cooking thing is no longer a deal breaker when they get into the swing of their relationship. So they say that Elijah Juan has worked hard for what he has. So they hope that she does not judge him before she has an opportunity to understand him. I wonder what he worked for. Like, does he have a lot of, like, what? I don't know. Didn't seem like a very lavish lifestyle. So, I mean, but I don't know. I mean, I guess we all work hard for whatever we have. Doesn't have to be a lot. But I do like that they said that they did not want her to judge him before she had an opportunity not to know him or to know of it, but to understand him. I think that's a different level of knowing. Understanding is a different level than knowing. So it's really interesting that they picked that word until they have the opportunity to understand him, which I think is good for all of us. We should not judge someone until we have the opportunity to understand him. But I don't know. I think that they started off from the gate by telling his nickname. That that sound like he's immature? We'll see. Katina's family wants Elijah Juan to know that Katina is a social butterfly with a heart of gold. She's literally been saying that she wants to get married for the past 5 years, so they're glad that it's happening. I wonder if she's really a social butterfly, though. I don't know. She doesn't seem like a social butterfly to me. I don't know. She doesn't seem very social. She seems a little more reserved. But just because you're an introvert or more reserved doesn't mean you can't interact with people. But when I think of a social butterfly, I think of Elijah Juan, who's just like all out there. So I'm really interested to see more of her personality, because what she says and what she gives to me are not aligning with one another. But it did look like she had an okay time at the bachelorette party, not a bump on the log, not sitting there like Alyssa, but not over the top like Lindsey. So maybe somewhere floating in the middle of that. But they're finally glad that it's happening. She enjoys meeting new people as much as a quiet night at home. I feel like she has those two different personalities within herself. But behind that pretty face is an opinionated woman who may be blunt at times. They say she's working on it. He says you don't have to, which is good. I mean, I think that he can handle a little bluntness. They also said that Katina's friends are her family, whose opinion she values more than her own. Should we value others' opinion more than our own? The next sentence was that she's a confident woman with so much love to give, and they hope that he's ready to receive it. But I don't know if I see confidence in someone who is not confident in their own opinion and values someone else's opinion more than her own. And I think that can get really tricky. If one person tells you one thing, one friend tells you one thing, and another friend tells you the exact opposite, who do you choose if you don't have your own opinion? And I think that we've really seen that, because when her friends came to her and told her about the cost of marrying a stranger, I felt like she had her own opinion. And she went with her opinion rather than value their opinion. And I think you should value your friend's opinion. I just don't think it should be more than your own. I don't think you should value their opinion more than your own. In Katina's vows, and she promises always to honor and respect him and to trust him. I hope that she can trust him, seeing that he has been untrustworthy. Then we see Elijah Juan's immaturity, because he did not write his vows. I don't think he wrote his vows. I don't think that the paper would get in the way. I think that he was going off the top of his head. I think that they were okay, but I think that it just shows another level of immaturity that he did not prepare. I love that he included his family, and he says, as my family always says, and his family actually said it, amen. That was nice, and that just shows that he does value his family and that they are close. Where do you think Elijah Juan's mom is? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if she is unsupportive of this particular relationship, or she's in a state where she cannot support him in this endeavor. But no one has talked about his mom, but he says he's really close to his mom. Then we see their one-on-one. Katina thinks he's handsome, and she tries to pronounce his name. I like that she encourages him to be who he is. She had no problem with him crying, and when he took his drink and drank it quickly, she's just like, do what you want. He's seen his wife, he has no words. Every time he looks at her, he just smiles. He thinks that she is so beautiful. He asks her for a second kiss, and she gives him permission to kiss her again. She says it's definitely awkward, but he does seem like he's a sincere man, and she could see when he was standing there tearing up how he was just fighting back the tears. Juan does tell her that he is full of energy. He wants open and honest communication, and of course he is talking a mile a minute. Katina thinks he has a strong personality that is overwhelming, and she hopes that she can handle it. See, that's why I don't think she is as outgoing, because he is already a lot for her. So I think that, I don't know if she's gonna be able to handle his strong personality. I think that she is outgoing, but not overbearing and not just out there. So I'm really interested to see how they mix together as a couple. We then see Dr. Viviana, who tells us why Chris and Alyssa are matched. She says that they're both confident, smart, and know exactly what they want out of life. They feel that they will enjoy introducing each other to their many hobbies. We then see Alyssa wedding shopping. She tells us that she purchased 10 other wedding dresses on her own, just in case she doesn't find something that she likes. And she brought 4 of the 10 dresses that she purchased to the bridal shop with her. I think this tells us a little bit about Alyssa. She goes on to say that she does not consider herself to be extremely high maintenance, but she's gonna be picky about her wedding. She wants her forever person and believes you need to put it into the universe to attract it. I think this shows that Alyssa is high maintenance, and also that she's indecisive and probably has a lot of money. I can understand if you went and bought a wedding dress, but 10 seems a little excessive. And I think that that shows you're indecisive. Okay, maybe even 2, but 10, I think that says that you're indecisive. And wedding dresses are not cheap. So let's just say that she bought it on the low end, $1,500 per dress. That would be like $15,000. Can you return a wedding dress? If you don't wear it, I don't know if you can return a wedding dress. And also, I wonder what size Alyssa is, because if she bought 10 dresses right off the rack, that seems like it would not be enough time for her to get them altered and then have them. So maybe she's just the perfect size to pick a dress off the rack, 10 of them, and then they fit with no alterations. For me, it just brought up a lot of questions, but I do think that she is high maintenance, and I think that she's picky, and I think that she is indecisive. Also, Alyssa wore metallic cowboy boots and stressed that she wanted her husband to be a little country. I think the experts should have matched her on that aspect rather than her hobbies, because she said this several times that she wanted them to be a little country. She wants to live on a farm and have tons of animals and horses and things like that. And I don't think that's what Chris wants. I don't think that their lifestyle is going to mesh. He's in real estate, so he may want something a little more modern, up to date. And at least this gives me an understanding of last week when she said that people don't expect her to be country. And I didn't understand that statement, because I'm like, okay, you ride a horse, but now she wants to live on a farm and have animals, and I can't imagine her wanting that. I mean, she does seem a little more upscale, more glamorous, as I indicated last week, than wanting to live on a farm and to raise animals. I can't see her taking care of animals, and maybe she will, which is why she says people don't see her as country or wouldn't identify her as liking country, because that is just wanting to live out in the country. So I did not expect that of her. She says that physical appearance is important and she desires an immediate mutual attraction, I don't think she's gonna be attracted to Chris. Not that he's not attractive, but attraction is in the eye of the beholder, and I don't think that she is going to find Chris attractive. We then see Chris wedding shopping as well. His friends ask him if getting married is a leap of faith or logic. Chris says logic. It's all about the analytical data. He doesn't like being lonely, but he's not trying to put a band-aid on loneliness, but he wants to grow from where he is. He wants the marriage to better himself as a person. Now, you know, I love a good word picture, but this was not my favorite. Chris said it's just like if you own a company and you feel like your business could be better if you partner with someone with a lot of money. You're not doing it to fix a problem. You just think you could be better if you brought them in. I get the company combination. I get that part, but he said combined with a company who has a lot of money. A partnership should be a win-win for both, not a come up for one. So that's where it kind of threw me. Like, do you want a partnership where it's a win-win for both of you? Or are you trying to get a come up for yourself? Therefore, I didn't get it. I don't exactly know what he meant by it. He does say that he can't control who she is, but he can control who he is. And if she doesn't like him, he's gonna take that as an opportunity to grow and to change. I thought that was interesting. I'm not sure. I do think that you can grow and change, and you can only change yourself. So I like that part of it, but I'm not sure if I'm not sure. That I was torn by that statement, but I like that he is looking at himself and the things that he can control and realizing that you cannot control another person. My thought on Chris and Alyssa, I think the experts should have focused on Alyssa wanting somebody a little country. I don't think Chris is the right one for her. From the two conversations, I don't see any commonalities. Dr. Viviana said they'll bond together over hobbies, but that's a weak argument because their hobbies are vastly different. I don't think they'll make it. I might be being biased because the trailer shows Alyssa still in her wedding dress, not feeling comfortable to spend the night with Chris because of something a guest said. Also in a preview, Alyssa claims Chris called her a lie and she storms off. This couple reminds me of Henry and Christina from a prior season. Henry heard something at the reception that he could never get over. We are not sure if Christina lived in her car, and she did not like the cameras. They really remind me of Henry and Christina. I don't think Alyssa and Chris will make it. They don't have enough in common. And although I think Chris is handsome, I don't think Alyssa will find that instant attraction. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what you think. Do you think Chris and Alyssa will make it? Am I wrong? We then get to Noe and Steve. Dr. Viviana tells us that Steve is a free spirit. Starting a family is his number one priority right now. Noe wants that as well, but with a husband that has an emotional side to him. And they believe that Steve can bring that kind of connection that she wants. I think so. I think that Steve can be emotional and be that support that Noe needs. I actually do think that. We see Steve shopping. He says he's an adventurous person, just got back from a 4-month trip. He decided to take another leap of faith and get married. Both of his grandparents and his aunt and uncle have arranged marriage. So it sounds like both of his grandparents from both sides of his family, his mom's side and his dad, and then his uncles. And if it could work for them, then it's a possibility that it could work for him. And I'm glad he said possibility, because nothing's a sure thing. In his time before the wedding, he says that he has been mentally preparing for 5 years. And he said it's the last thing on his bucket list, starting a family and having somebody to build and connect with. Is this a bucket list item? I'm not sure if I would call it a bucket list. I thought that was interesting. So, of course, I looked up bucket list. Google's definition is, it is a collection of goals, dreams, and aspirations that you would like to accomplish within your lifetime. The basic meaning of bucket list is to keep track. The basic meaning of a bucket list is to keep track of your goals and to take steps in achieving those goals in order to maximize the incredible experiences in your life. I guess I'm wrong. With that definition, getting married qualifies to be on a bucket list. I was surprised. Steve says the worst thing is that they see each other and she is not into him, and they have to search for common ground in order to make things work. I think that's true. It's a little harder if you don't have that attraction and you got to search for common ground. He says that he thinks this removes the stigma of marrying somebody you don't know, because it happens a lot. I don't think it happens a lot. Maybe in other countries, but in America, I don't think it happens a lot where people marry people that they don't know. Steve asked for somebody who is loving, caring, thoughtful, someone that he could emotionally connect with, and he's hoping that she is adventurous. I think that's great. I think that is Noe. I think this is a good match. I think that they matched them on things that they have in common. Steve's family says it's all about compromise, and they say that Steve is good at compromising. That's good. That's a good trait to have for married at first sight, that you can compromise. We then go to Noe, and she is shopping as well. She has been ready for love ever since she was a little girl. She is a hopeless romantic, and she feels like this is the way that she should meet her person. I like that she has confidence that this is the way that she should meet her person and that it fits her personality. She thinks it's about love. She feels surreal picking out a dress just because she was a child who was born in a refugee camp and didn't have a lot of money. So looking at these expensive dresses to buy one is just like a fairy tale moment for her. Noe's friend says that they hope that he's a good father and they want her to get pregnant really, really soon. She then finds a dress that looks beautiful, and then we move on to her before her wedding. Noe was really specific about his characteristics. She wants someone who is kind, generous, close with his family, adventurous. As for looks, she just hopes for handsome. And I think he does. I think that he meets her requirements of being generous, close with his family, compassionate, kind. I think that these are things that Steve actually is. So I think that this will be a good match. Noe's mom's advice is to remember that nobody is perfect. You have to accept and respect each other. And Noe wants a marriage as beautiful as her parents. But I think that that was really, really good advice that Noe's mom gave her. She tells us a little bit more about Noisy. She tells us that Noisy is a diva. She really likes being silly, and she likes to talk about her dating adventures. I don't think Steve will want to know about her dating adventures. Men usually just want to know how many maybe who if they knew them. But I don't think they want to know about your dating adventures. Maybe that she moved out of town a couple of times. That'll alert him that she may be willing to take a chance with him and move out of Boston. But other than that, I don't think that he is going to find the dating adventures as exciting content. I love that she wants to take a moment to thank him for being brave. She said that she went through a very emotional time last year, so she believes taking a chance, it means everything to her, which is why she's here. That's why she gets up in the morning, and it's the thing that guides her. Should finding love be the reason you get up in the morning and what guides you? What do you think? I don't think that is what you should use for your guide. When they're getting ready for the wedding and her and her dad is standing outside, and she asks her dad for advice, he says, be good to your family and your husband and be patient, which is great advice, Dad, great advice. And we see her just so nervous. It's time to go in, it's time to go in. And of course they leave us with that cliffhanger. I'm still interested to see what happens. I'm excited about the season. At this point, I think Mark and Lindsey, Jasmina and Michael, and Steve and Nori will remain married after decision day. I'm not sure about Katina and Elijah Juan. I haven't got a really good read on them either way. And I don't think that Alyssa and Chris will make it to decision day. What stood out for you? Who do you think will weather the storm? Why do you think Alyssa purchased 10 wedding dresses? Let's talk about it in the comments section. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, live with intention. Be intentional.